Hi guys, so welcome back to our new math tutorial. So today we'll be discussing about solving quadratic equation by extracting the roots. So this is actually a one method for us to solve for the quadratic equation or find its root, which is extract the square roots. Okay, now the thing that we need to consider here before we can apply the extracting the root, we need to make sure that your quadratic equation is written in the form of x squared is equal to c, where b is equal to 0. It means that your quadratic equation must be an incomplete quadratic equation where there will be no linear term, or the b is equal to 0. Just like for these four examples. Now, let's go ahead and try example number 1. Okay, this is actually one of example where you can solve this quadratic equation by extracting the root. As you can observe, we only have here the quadratic term followed by the constant, and definitely here that b is equal to 0, or it means that the b is missing. Okay, if that's the case of your quadratic equation, we can solve this by extracting the roots. Okay, now, so to do that, the first thing that we need to do is to make sure that it's written in a form of x squared is equal to c, which means that all of the constant must be isolated in the other side of equation. All you have to do is to transpose negative 121 to the other side of equation. So you can bring down x squared is equal to 121. Now, if it's already written in a form of x squared is equal to c, and the next step that we need to do is to make sure that a must be equal to 1, or the numerical coefficient of x squared or the quadratic term must be equal to 1. As you can observe here, that a or the numerical coefficient of x squared is equal to 1, so therefore we can now apply the square root property. What does the square root property means? Square root property is simply getting the square root of both sides of equation, then you can have two answers, which is positive and negative. So all you have to do here, class, is to square root both sides of equations. So we have square root of x squared is equal to square root of 121. So in the laws of radical, same nth root, same exponent, so we can cancel this, bring down the radicand, which is x, is equal to, as at what I mentioned earlier, your answer must be a positive and negative upon applying the square root property. The square root of 121 is 11. Now therefore, this will become your final answer. X is equal to positive negative 11, or x is equal to 11 and x is equal to negative 11. That's it. Now let's go ahead and try example number 6, which is 6x squared minus 24 is equal to 0. So the same process, so we need to write this in the form of x squared is equal to 6, x squared is equal to c, where constant must be isolated in the right side of the equation, and definitely a must be equal to 0. So that's the first thing that we need to do, is to transpose negative 24. So you have 6x squared is equal to 24. Now, as you can observe, that before we apply the square root property, we need to make sure that a is equal to 1. But in this case, a is greater than 1, so we cannot immediately apply the square root property. Therefore, there's still a need for us to cancel out 6, the numerical coefficient 6, or to manipulate our equation. So to do that, we just need to divide both sides by 6 so that we can cancel 6 here. Then we can now bring down x squared is equal to 24 divided by 6 is 4. Now, since a is equal to 1 already, we can now apply the square root property. So square root both sides of equation, so we can cancel this, bring down x is equal to positive negative, so do not forget that one. Square root of 4 is 2. So this will become your final answer. X is equal to positive 2 and negative 2. Now, let's go ahead and answer example number 3. So, we have x squared minus 8 is equal to 0. So, this is actually easy. We just need to transpose 8. So, we have x squared is equal to 8. Now, after that, since a is equal to 1, so we can now simply square root both sides of equation. So, we can cancel this. Bring down x is equal to positive negative. Now, as you can observe that 8 is not a perfect square. It is not perfect square unlike with the previous example. So therefore, there is still a need for us to find the factor of 8 that has a perfect square, which are 4 times 2. Then we can now simplify our radicals. We have positive, negative. So we can actually separate these two factors, which is 4 times 2. So we can have square root of 4. So we can have square root of 4. So we have square root of 4 times square root of 2. And that way we can simplify our radical. So we have x is equal to positive, negative. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 2, there's no square root of 2 since 2 is a prime number, so we can bring down square root of 2 here. And if that's the case already, class, that's already your final answer, which has a radical. So x is equal to positive 2 square root of 2 and x is equal to negative 2 square root of 2. Again, if the radicand is not a perfect square, so there's a need for us to find the factor that has a perfect square, which is 4 times 2. 4 is a perfect square, so that we can use that factor. We cannot use 8 times 1, although 1 is a perfect square. Aside from that, there's nothing more that we can use, which is just simply have 4 times 2. Okay? And after that, we can separate them, then simplify the radical. And after that, you just need to copy whatever is there. So square root of 4 is 2, then bring down square root of 2, which is already simplified of a radical. Now let's have example number 4. We have 2 times x minus 3 square is equal to 18. Now, it might be a little bit difficult by its looks. It's actually not. Okay? Remember, a term that inside a parenthesis, it means it is one group. And it means that x and negative 3 is considered as 1. They're already in one group. And it is traced by 2. So we can just simply represent x minus 3 by square. X squared. Okay? And since if that's the case that x minus 3 square is considered as x square as 1, we can already consider that 2 is also a numerical coefficient of x squared. So, numerical coefficient din siya, class. Okay? So we have 2x squared here. It means that we can now already say that it's already written in the form of x squared is equal to c. But a is not equal to 1. The numerical coefficient of x squared here is still 2. So there's still a need for us to divide both sides by 2. So that we can make this into 1. Divide both sides by 2. So we can cancel the numerical coefficient here. So bring down x minus 3 square is equal to 9. Okay, so again, class, we said that x minus 3 is considered as 1, which is x squared. So if that's the case, the numerical coefficient of x squared is already 1. We can apply the square root property. Square root both sides. So we can cancel this, bring down x minus 3 is equal to positive negative 3. Now, we're not yet done because we're solving for x. And you know that we have two answers for 3 here, the positive 3 and negative 3. And we still have a constant here. So we're not yet done. The next step that you need to do is to transpose negative 3 because you're solving for x. So you need to isolate x, and definitely you need to isolate also all of the constant. So you have x. So you have x is equal to 3, positive, negative 3. Now, the next step that you need to do, have a separate solution for positive 3 and negative 3. And again, you have two answers here, the positive 3 and negative 3. So it means you just need to have a separate solution for that. So you have 3 plus 3, that's a positive 3, followed by x is equal to 3 minus 3. Then simplify. X is equal to 3 plus 3 is 6, followed by x is equal to 0. And that will become your final answer, where x is equal to c and x is equal to 0. So those are some of examples of quadratic equation that we can solve by extracting the roots. So again, the main goal here is to write your quadratic equation in the form of x squared is equal to z, where b is equal to 0 and a must be equal to 1. Again, I guess that's it for this video, and I'll see you to the next one.